He thought I was just another girl from Tinder. Pretty face, friendly smile, a little mysterious, maybe, but harmless. He had no idea I was trained to see through people like him. He didn't know that I spent my days chasing down liars. People who lie with confidence, with charm, with a story that sounds just real enough to be true. He didn't know I work in financial crimes, the division that tracks fraud, scams, and the people who make a living by destroying others quietly. He had no idea that I wasn't just there for the date. I was about to become his worst mistake. It started like any other story. I was on a break between cases, mentally exhausted, emotionally drained. Everyone in the department said I needed a distraction, something light. No reports, no investigations. So I downloaded Tinder. I didn't expect much, mostly small talk and awkward matches. But then I saw him. Nikita, tall, clean cut, a calm, confident look, and a profile that read like a screenplay. Investor, polyglot, coffee lover, looking for something real. It wasn't original, but it was polished, thought out. I swiped right. We matched instantly. His messages were witty, fast, and just flirtatious enough. He asked good questions, listened, replied quickly, but not too quickly. He mentioned he worked in finance, something about startups, venture capital, remote clients in Dubai and Singapore. It all sounded curated, but not suspicious. Still, something about him kept me hurt. We messaged for 3 days straight. He sent voice notes, joked about the algorithms, said I had murder eyes but soft energy. I laughed, more than I expected to. We decided to meet in person. It was a rooftop bar, trendy but quiet. The kind of place where every cocktail is an art piece and no one asks too many questions. When I arrived, he was already there. 2 drinks waiting. He stood up, kissed me on the cheek, and for the first 20 minutes he was perfect. Polite, charming, confident. He told me about his latest deal in Berlin, about his time living in Tokyo, about his meditation retreat in Bali where he learned to let go of material attachments while sipping a €15 cocktail and checking his Rolex every 10 minutes. It was amusing, a little too polished, but still believable. Until he slipped. He told me he'd just gotten back from Lisbon, where earlier that week he'd said he was in Tbilisi. When I asked how Lisbon was, he paused, just a second too long. He recovered quickly. Said he mixes things up sometimes, but something clicked in my head. His accent shifted slightly when he talked about different cities. His stories had mismatched timelines. He described financial terms with just enough vagueness to sound impressive but not real. The truth was I've interviewed over 100 scammers in my career, and they all do the same thing. They build a version of themselves that's just out of reach, too busy to question, too accomplished to doubt. They depend on your need to believe them, and I'd believed just enough to sit across from him. But I wasn't a civilian. I was trained to notice what people don't say, so I smiled, laughed at his jokes, played along, but I was already building a case in my mind. When I got home, I ran a quick background check. Nothing too official, just surface-level scans. But the name he gave me, it didn't match his phone number. The company he said he worked for, it didn't exist. The LinkedIn profile he linked me to, less than 2 weeks old. He had fake layers, fake references, fake presence. I took it further, using tools from our internal systems legally. Since I suspected criminal intent, I traced patterns. Turns out he was on our radar. 3 separate complaints, all women. Different cities, same story. They met him online. He said he was between transfers, were traveling, or had crypto funds frozen. He charmed them, then convinced them to help with a temporary issue. A loan, a transfer, a crypto wallet he couldn't access without a new phone. Every story was just believable enough to manipulate someone who wanted to believe in love. In every case, the money disappeared, and so did he. But he'd never been caught. He used fake ID, prepaid numbers, VPN. He was smart, careful, and slippery. Until now. I printed the file, created a small report, cross-referenced the phone, the photos, the voice patterns, and then I called a colleague, someone I trusted. We arranged a second meeting. He thought it would be another date. I told him I wanted something more private this time. He suggested a wine bar. I countered with a cozy lounge. He agreed. We met again 2 nights later. I wore red, smiled more than usual, acted like nothing had changed. He was even bolder this time, leaning in closer, touching my hand, talking about trips we should take together. A few more compliments and then the pitch. He said he had an opportunity, something I might be interested in. A new fund, early access, just for a few people. He made it sound exclusive, urgent, trust-based. That was his pattern. Build intimacy, create trust, then strike. I nodded, listened, even asked for details. He leaned in and said, "I knew you were different." He had no idea how right he was. I gave the signal. It was settled, just a glance toward the bartender. But the man behind the bar wasn't a bartender. He was my partner. Nikia kept talking, completely unaware. He laid out the investment plan, showed me a sleek PDF on his phone. Thick branding, fake charts. I recognized the template. We'd seen it before in other scams. Then he asked the question, "If I send you a wallet address, could you help me out with the first step, just to show I can trust you?" He smiled like it was nothing. Like trust was a transaction. He even leaned in to kiss me. That's when my partner walked over. "Excuse me, sir. Can you step outside with me for a moment?" Nikita blinked, confused, then tried to act casual. "Is there a problem?" I stood up. "There is," I said calmly. "You're under investigation for fraud and financial manipulation across 3 regions. I suggest you come quietly." The look in his eyes, that was the moment it changed. He realized who I was. Not a date, not a target, but a threat. He stood frozen. Didn't say a word. Then he tried to run. Didn't make it far. 2 plainclothes officers waiting outside intercepted him, hands behind his back. No drama, no shouting. Just the end of a long game. I stayed inside, sat back down, and exhaled. It wasn't just relief. It was something colder, deeper. The realization that people like him rely on moments of vulnerability, emotional shortcuts, fast trust, fake stories. They scan for women who hope for something real and use that hope against them. He was processed the same night. We found multiple forged ID, dozens of crypto wallets, brighter phones, and a cloud storage with scripts, actual scripts on how to behave on first dates, how to mirror personalities, how to seem trustworthy. He had been doing this for years, and not once had he met someone who fought back. He pled not guilty at first, claimed I tricked him, that I led him on. But we had the messages, the recordings, the evidence. Eventually, he took a deal. I watched his sentencing from the back of the courtroom. No makeup, no red dress, just me as I really am. He didn't look at me. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe he realized he finally met someone he couldn't manipulate. I didn't feel proud. I felt tired. It's strange you think catching someone like that would feel like justice, like closure. But it doesn't erase the damage he caused others, or the fact that for a few days I almost believed him too. I thought I was immune, but no one is. We all want connection, and when someone gives us just the right version of what we're missing, our logic takes a step back. The only difference is I listened to the part of me that said, "This doesn't feel right." That voice, listen to it. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, but it's there for a reason. Trust is earned slowly. Anyone who tries to fast forward it is hiding something. And anyone who gets angry when you ask questions isn't someone you should be answering to. He thought I was just another girl on Tinder, but I was the last one he'd ever try to scam. Subscribe for more true stories like this. You never know what's coming next.